Today is Friday, November 18th, and you should be reading Daniel 10 through 12 and John 20. Now, when I read these chapters in Daniel, I have to be honest, I was like super confused. So I had to go do some research, looking some things up. And so I'm going to kind of talk through a little bit of what these chapters are talking about. And these three chapters kind of remind us that the conflict on earth reflects some of the conflict in heaven. And this will continue until God triumphs, and we know he will. And as I did my research, I found that most of the events in chapter 11 can be seen in history, and you can kind of track that, and it's really interesting. So if you're interested, just look it up, and you can kind of see exactly what scholars are saying each parts of those are. But then the end of chapter 11, and the end of chapter 11 through chapter 12 it hasn't happened yet. This is future. Even future for us, not just future for Daniel. And it's talking about going to the end of time. It is prophecy. It is in the same vein as Revelation. It is future end times that are coming. And so just that's a little bit for you guys to kind of hold on to and think about when you're reading. Like, some of these events have happened in history after Daniel's time. Some of these events are still on their way. They're still coming, that Daniel is talking about. But one thing I want to focus on is actually in chapter 10. Daniel he's weak, he's hungry, he hasn't eaten. And this man, it's presumably an angel, appears to him and gives him a vision. And Daniel says, I don't have the strength, I am too weak. And so he's given the strength by this angel through God. He's given the strength to see this vision, to record it for us. And God does that for us too. Sometimes he asks us to do things that we're not fully capable of doing without him. He says, I know you're not quite ready yet, but through me, I will help you. I will be with you. I will provide the tools and the resources you need. You can think back to Exodus when Moses is talking to the burning bush and says, God, I'm not a good speaker. And God's like, okay, well, here's your brother Aaron. He will help you. Sometimes God provides us the things we need after we start the journey. He sometimes calls us to do things we're not quite ready for yet. We don't have all of the resources yet for, but he says he will provide those resources. He will provide what we need and the people we need to do these things. Because we're not alone. We're not doing these things by ourselves. We're doing these things with God. He's not going to say, hey, I need you to do this really hard thing and then just leave us alone. And maybe we'll get it done, maybe we won't. God says, I need you to do this thing and I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you. And I'm going to provide what we need. And that doesn't mean that there won't be challenges, because there absolutely will be. But it means that even in those challenges, we know that God is there and God is going to help us work through those and figure it out. And I think that's just a great reminder that we sometimes have to take that leap of faith, take that one step forward, even though we can't see whether or not where we're going or if we're going to have everything. We can't always see the end goal, the end result, because God doesn't always tell us everything. But we know that we can trust him. He's proven that time and time again. And so I want you guys to think about today. Are you being asked to do something for God? Is God asking you to do something that you're just too afraid? You're concerned you don't have the right resources, you're not the right person? Because let me just tell you, God says you are. And so I want you to reflect on that. And I want you to take that step, to take that leap of faith and trust God to provide. And until next time, you are sent.